You remember back in June, on the 17th, we had that first breakfast meeting where we started having the discussion related to the sustainable financing agenda, collaboration between banks and the WASH sector. And this is a follow-on meeting to action some of the resolutions that we had from that meeting. But for today's introduction, just see how we go. Yeah, which bank or which organization, and then to make it quicker and for us to also get a tally of which organization is represented here. Okay, so myself, Water for People. Good morning, everybody. Brenda Chuma, Water for People. Faith Nemanja, Water for People. Water for People. Just the very start. I can't tell my bosses to. I still need my job. Okay. Thank you, Dr. Bandaidi. His name is Brenda Chiro, and I'm the country director, Water for People in Uganda. Only organization. Okay. Faith Nemanja, regional director, Water for People in Uganda. Regional director, Africa.
Good morning, everybody. Karisti Lugula and Malini, Commissioner Minister of Water and
Good morning. My name is Jen Maria Mulonga. I'm the country director for IRC, who is the National Water and Sanitation Center. Thank you. Good morning. My name is Diana Nagano. I'm from ESG, I'm a sustainability manager. See how beautiful Diana's look? Good morning, everyone. My name is Santa Shania Aya, the Sustainability Governance Manager at ESG Bank. Good morning, everyone. My name is Akasa Dakin. I'm from ESG Bank, and I ESG table. You need to see some mix up.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Sakoma Simon Peter. Again, the first Uganda. Good morning, everyone. I'm Javi Mukasa, Epidemiological Officer, Minister of Water and Environment.
Good morning. My name is Vicky Achen. I'm an economist with the Ministry of Water and Environment.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Robert Mizahora. I'm an economist in Ministry of Water and Environment. I'm Engineer Godfrey Ashaka, Principal Engineer, Ministry of Water and Environment.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Gwendolyn Toboloji, Coordinator Water Resources District, Ministry of Water and Environment. Thank you. The reason we're having this meeting is to have a collaboration, banks, water sector, at this table.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Peter Nangu. I'm from Finance Trust. I'm in charge of employee banking and treasury. Good morning. I'm Guma Gilbert. I work with Water.org as a partnerships account manager. I support Africa.
Good morning. My name is Flavia Guru. I work with Association of Microfinance and the manager.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Emmanuel Osuko, and I'm the Sustainability Manager from Florida. Happy to be here.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Ronald Ochen. I work with the Uganda Bankers Association and coordinate ESG implementation at the industry level. Thank you.
This table has tried, yeah? But it's still finance heavy, but you have tried. Well done.
Good morning. My name is Hilda David Kassewa. I work with Water for People and I'm project officer. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, Moses Kiwano, this is amendment from the last to the
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Atari David, MID officer, Water for People.
Good morning, everyone. John Michael is my name, project officer, Water for People.
I encourage you, my colleagues. Mix up.
You can't leave this place. You should not leave this place the same. This will be the last table. Good morning, everyone. My name is Joanna Singh. I'm the National Sanitation Consultant with the Sanitation Hygiene Fund. Good morning, everyone. Yvonne Logari, Sustainability Manager, Water for People.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Dina Namaganda, the National Coordinator, Parliamentary Forum on Climate Change.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Clayton Mwanda. I'm the country representative from Climate Hub International.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Apollo Muyaja. I work with the Private Sector Foundation, Project Director, in charge of government markets.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Richard Uswata is my name. I'm on Assistant Commissioner at the Ministry of Water and Environment.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, I was waiting for everyone to respond. Good morning. I know it's a cold morning, but please have some. My name is Kate Namialo. I work as a Senior Environmental Health Officer with the Ministry of Health.
Good morning, colleagues. I am Beru Musa, representing the Ministry of Education and Sports.
The most balanced table in the room. Well done. And lastly, let's see how balanced this one is.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Michael Senpai is my name. I work with the Ministry of Water and Environment, and I'm attached to the Water Resources Institute. And while at the Institute, I'm in charge of applied training and mentorship. Thank you.
Yes, good morning, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Raphael Okoth. I work with Water for People and I coordinate the Sanitation and Hygiene Fund grant. Thank you.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Kato Zaifa is my name. I work with the Ministry of Education and Sports, Primary Education. Thank you.
Yes, good morning, everyone. Cassius Musasa is my name. I head sustainability at Diamond Trust Bank. Glad to be here.
Good morning, everyone. Henry Selwa is my name, and I'm one of the consultants behind the ESG-WASH curriculum development.
A very good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Dennis Chiimba, part of the consulting team. Thank you.
A very good morning, Mugera Paul, part of the consulting team. Thank you.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Engineer Wilfred Okino. For this purpose, I'm part of the consultancy team.
But I feel like I should also talk about my bank. I see many bankers here. I have a bank account with Stanbic Bank, with DFCU, with Housing Finance, with Bank of Uganda, and also with is it Diamond Trust Bank? Yes, Housing Finance Trust Bank. Yes, I have all those accounts. So I'm, I think, one of the balanced consultants in this place. And thank you so much.
Thank you so much, everybody. Again, I encourage you to mix up, especially this table. Madam Ndolin, you could take the lead and move somewhere.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning, everyone. Good morning. Have you had breakfast? Okay. I'm Yunia Musazi, and I'm ED of Uganda Water Sanitation Network, the network of close to 200 civil society organizations that work in the water sanitation sector.
Thank you so much. I hope at least we all know a name or a bank or an organization. I'm Engineer Diana Kesiga, and I'm serving with Water for People as a Senior Manager in charge of National Impact and Influence. I'm Diana. That's how I was saying, see how beautiful Diana's look. At least now you can see, right?
Good morning, everybody. My name is
Mayanja. I am the Head of Corporate Affairs and Sustainability at DFCU Bank.
DFCU, guys, money is here. Come to the table. There is a chair for the lucky person. And then the employers are here. Come to the table. Mix up. Take up the opportunity. Don't let this go past you. So welcome once again. Today we are here to discuss the ESG-Aligned WASH curriculum and metrics framework. This is an activity that has been informed by the breakfast meeting that we had back in June on the 17th, where one of the actions was the need to build capacity of the financial sector, primarily in implementation of ESG. And because this is environment, we are now focused on WASH, ESG-WASH. And in a reflection meeting that we had with UBA in July, one of the actions that we agreed upon was to have a curriculum through which the capacity building can be done. We have a short agenda. I hope we have all registered. No? We shall have that done digitally. This is the digital age. So David will be having a QR code that we'll be passing around for everyone to register. Networking is a given. That's why I'm encouraging you to mix up DFCU. If the money doesn't come to the people, at least take it to the people. Give them loans. And I hope we're all having breakfast. Right now, we have all introduced ourselves. I still see some people getting in. I will be coming to you. We'll be getting into the objectives of the assignment, which will be delivered by the country director of Water for People, after which we shall have the Uganda Bankers Association giving us remarks from the financial sector, and then what we've been waiting for, the inception report from the consultant, which will give us more details on how this assignment is going to go and how we are all going to be involved. Right after that, the commissioner, DWRM, will give us remarks, invite the permanent secretary to formally launch this activity. No event is an event without photos. So we shall have a group photo right after the launch. The PS may leave at that point, then we can get into the discussions about the inception report that will have been presented. Is this okay? Great. So, why are we here today? What is the purpose? What do we hope to all take away? So, of course, we would like to officially launch the start of the development of the ESG-WASH curriculum and metrics framework. We would like to also confirm the scope within that work, but also appreciate and understand from everyone here what you expect to get from this assignment. The consultant will present the methodology and the work plan. They will clarify stakeholder engagement, the approach they are going to be using. Would also like to constitute a task force which is going to be responsible for reviewing each and every deliverable that comes through from this assignment, at which point we shall confirm all the roles and communication channels, and we'll agree on the next immediate steps before we leave this place. Any questions up until this point? When people keep quiet, it means everything is okay. So allow me to invite the Country Director, Water for People, to share with us her remarks and also the objectives of the assignment. Brenda, over to you.
Thank you very much, Diana. Good morning again, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for making your way here in the morning. I know we had a morning shower and we probably thought it would affect most of us, but it's good to know that we are all here. Then in terms of time check, I'll be very brief because we want to be done by 10 a.m., right? So I'll be very brief. We're taking you through the objectives of the assignment. So of course the overall goal of this assignment is to build capacity of Uganda's financial institutions to incorporate WASH into ESG strategies, operations, and reporting. We are aware that the Bank of Uganda launched the ESG guidelines, I think June, if I'm not mistaken, the framework, the ESG framework last year, and we looked at it and we thought, I think this is the opportune moment to have WASH come in strongly. We've had a number of meetings with the financial institutions. We've been having dialogue sessions, we had a breakfast meeting, and all this is in an effort to make sure that WASH gets into the agenda. And I know during the last breakfast meeting, most of the financial institutions were, honest. They didn't really understand WASH that much, let alone us expecting to report about it. There's some WASH indicators that we thought, the financial institutions should be able to report against within the ESG framework, but before we could even get to that, we realized the capacity gap. And that is why we think this is a very important assignment to bridge that gap. So in terms of specific objectives, we'll be reviewing the existing ESG and sustainable finance resources and identify the WASH gaps therein. And then develop a WASH ESG curricula for banks, microfinance institutions, and SACCOs. The third objective is to define the ESG-WASH metrics aligned to the Uganda Bankers Association ESG framework and SDG 6. Of course, in the previous breakfast meeting, we got to know some of the support that UBA is already giving the financial institutions. And instead of duplicating, we felt, can we be able to align to what is already there, but bring WASH, the WASH matrices, in a central place within that. So we will basically align or link to that. There won't be any duplication. The other objective is to validate outputs through stakeholder consultations and workshops, and then finally to assess ESG learning systems and recommend improvements. So these are the objectives of this assignment, and we're looking forward to working with all of you to deliver on them. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Brenda.
every time someone finishes to speak, just clap away. Yeah? I didn't hear you clapping for me though. I would appreciate that backward clap, okay? Thanks. Thank you. And this assignment is going to be implemented by a consultant. We've procured Paul Mugegwa, who has put together a team that he will be introducing once he comes through for the presentation of the Inception report. At this opportune time, I would like to invite Emmanuel Otuko, a sustainability manager of Equity Bank, who also serves as a secretary for the UBA. Sorry? What did I say? I said Equity. Give that. I'm speaking into the future. My apologies, Emmanuel. Sustainability manager, Centenary Bank, but he also serves as secretary for the UBA Sustainability Executive Committee. Over to you, ma'am.
Thank you, Diana. You're excused for the mistake. Yeah. Good morning, everyone. Again, I'm Emmanuel Otuko. I'm the sustainability manager for Centenary Bank, but also I do serve at the Sustainability Committee of UBA, Uganda Bankers Association, as a secretary. But today I'll be speaking on behalf of the chairperson who's not able to make it here today. So again, I want to welcome you all to this engagement. Really excited to be here, be part of this discussion to drive this WASH agenda. We thank all of you, our partners from government, from development organizations, from Water for People, Water.org, everyone from banks, etc. Really excited for what we are starting today. As you may be aware, sanitation remains a challenge for this country because at least close to 18% of people do not have access to proper sanitation. And so this discussion now becomes very timely for us to move this agenda forward. And you realize that one of the main constraints to all the hindrances to access for sanitation is financing. And that's why you will see there's so many, as UPA, we come in very handy because you're working with banks, and banks are critical in bridging this gap of financing. As mentioned earlier by the previous speaker, last year, sometime about June, an ESG framework, an industry-wide ESG framework was launched by the Central Bank and UBA in partnership with UBA. And one of the key items there is sustainable finance. And in sustainable finance, basically you're looking at green and social impact financing. And so today, it means as banks, we have fair understanding now across the industry. There's at least a good understanding of what sustainability is from a financing point of view. So it means this discussion of WASH has come at such a crucial time when banks have built a little bit of capacity here and there, but there's still a lot more to learn. So for us as UBA, collaborating with partners like Water for People is really, really critical. At UBA, we have been very instrumental in starting this discussion of curriculum development. And again, so, as this goes on, we will be conducting a market assessment to study, a market assessment to assess the financial sector's readiness to take up this WASH financing, and I mean to address where the gaps are really. And so we really, really look forward to this curriculum, because it is going to bridge the knowledge gaps, but also build our capacity to bridge this constraint that I talked about earlier of financing that is making close to 18% of Ugandans not access sanitation. So really, as a call to action for all financial institutions, is for all of us to embrace this WASH curriculum, this WASH agenda. And I know a couple of institutions have done this more as a corporate social responsibility, but it should go beyond that. We should embrace it as a key driver of sustainability agendas in our different institutions, but also for all stakeholders, we ought to support right from government, right from civil society, from NGOs, everyone, banks. We ought to support the mainstreaming of WASH into our strategies, credit policies for banks, of course, but also in our reporting and capacity building. It shouldn't, because the ultimate goal here is to drive a shift in the market towards sustainable practices, and one of them is in WASH. Again, as UBA, we remain very committed to driving this agenda, ensuring that we champion a resilient, inclusive, and impact-driven financial sector. So as I close, I would like to thank all our partners for putting their resources together for this noble cause. Of course, we thank you, the Ministry of Water and Environment. We thank you, Water for People, water.org, everyone, and the financial sector generally. So thank you very much, everyone, and we look forward to this engagement. We look forward to this curriculum. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Emmanuel. This activity is being implemented by a consortium of partners. Yeah? It's funded by the Sanitation and Hygiene Fund. And you know, usually they say if you want to go very far, you have to go as a team. And I'd like to invite the partners that are behind this initiative to rise so that people actually understand. Amanyi Gavawa. The lead implementer is the Ministry of Water and Environment, represented right now by Dr. Callist, and the PS is still on his way. We have UBA. You've seen the mighty presentation from Emmanuel. We have Ronald Ochen. Then Water for People Uganda. And everybody in the room. We have water.org. Everything in the finance sector started with water.org. So if you want to pass, if you want a success, they have to be there. And they are really guiding us in this whole process. We have IRC. We have the Water Resources Institute. If you're talking about curricula in WASH and you don't have the Water Resources Institute, then you're going down a very slippery slope at a very high speed. And then lastly is UWASNet. UWASNet brings together all the NGOs in the WASH sector in the country. So them being part of this team means all NGOs in the WASH sector are represented. Okay? And then of course, you know WASH is a shared mandate. Shared between who and who and who. Water, health, and education. So if we didn't have health, where is health? Ministry of Health is right there, and Ministry of Education. If you don't know Ministry of Education, then just look at Haji and his team. He represents the entire breadth of WASH within the Ministry of Health. So appreciation to the team that is championing this assignment. I would like to now invite the consultant to come and share with us the inception report. Let's give him a round of applause as he comes.
Many thanks, Diana, for the kind introduction and the opportunity that you've afforded me to come and interact with the team. Allow me to stand on the protocol that has been clearly It shows 6 phases of implementation, from planning, from inception and planning, speaking to the scope confirmation, which we believe that we have to firm up today, stakeholder mapping, approved inception report, to the desk review that will be a function of policy and the frameworks review, but also the gap analysis as I've talked about. Curriculum development, which will speak to the modular curriculum, the training guides, case studies. Metrics development, which are a function of WASH ESG indicators, reporting templates, of course the SDG6 alignment. Then validation workshops that we shall have, feedback integration and validation report, and finally the finalization, whereby we shall have a final collectively agreed curriculum, final metrics framework, and a handover report. So in short, those 6 phases are so critical, and in all those, they speak to the role of US stakeholders, the role of the task force, and in managing the expectation, but also the momentum. So that is how we shall be moving. Our methodological strength is premised on the fact that this is going to be a participatory engagement, contextual, practical, sector aligned, validation driven, institutionally sustainable, but also and designed for the long-term use. The TNA, as we've talked about it, still participatory. The purpose is to ensure training is demand-driven and targeted. And among the activities, we shall have institutional profiling, the various institutions, validation of the learning gaps, sector consultation, and which will definitely which will have a product that would be the TNA report. And of course, the result would be a curriculum that is tailored not only to the banks, but also to the MFIs and SACCOs, ESG maturity levels, regulators and policymakers and other key actors will find this very insightful and a great tool to use. Of course, the curriculum development approach is going to be, of course, the instructional design process. We shall begin with the review of existing ESG and WASH material, identify the learning gaps, establish learning objectives and outcomes, design modular learning tracks, develop trainer and participants manuals, build case studies and exercises that speak to our realities, produce assessments and learning aids, but also this is going to be an iterative stakeholder review that will have the best product. So the question is, how will the WASH be integrated into the ESG? Of course, we are going to ensure that there is a real-world integration. Speaking to the ESG governance systems, to credit risk frameworks, to loan product design, ESG reporting structures, strategy planning, and of course WASH, as we know, is embedded in the core business, but it shouldn't be treated as a peripheral issue. So that is the philosophy that will definitely guide whatever we do. In terms of metrics development, this is so far what we believe that will deliver value. That of course the metric framework will be aligned with the UBA integrated ESG framework and the SDG, and of course it will begin with defining, define the use case, align with the UBA ESG framework, draft the indicators, validate the practicality, pilot with few banks within the time constraint, prioritize and tier the metrics, develop sample reporting templates, finalize and institutionalize. So we believe that methodology will definitely produce metrics that will be practical and will facilitate the whole process. Of course, the metric structure based on the 3 fundamentals of the ESG, environmental, speak to the water use, wastewater, the social, as we saw, access, affordability, governance in terms of the policy and oversight, and of course the categories, we shall talk about the core indicators, the minimum that are set that every financial institution must report, advanced metrics for financial institutions that are more mature in terms of ESG integration, and the optional indicators that will speak to the institutional specifics. In terms of stakeholder ecosystem, just a quick run through, but of course this is not exhaustive. Of course, water for people, because these are the These are the archbishops of this. Water Resource Institute, water.org, and we are very glad that, that the key stakeholders are actually here. UBA and the Sustainability Committee, UIBFS, which we believe that it would also come in handy because it's the premier training institute for the banking. The ministries that are here, water, health, education, certainly finance, because we're talking about financing. AMFU, PSFU, of course the WASH NGOs, regulatory bodies, but also the private sector. And so we believe that these will go a long way in contributing, but also in ensuring that we come up with a product that speaks to their stakeholders' needs. Of course, in terms of assignment management, of course, the governance is anchored through Water for People as a client, but of course, there is a multi-agency task force for oversight and ensuring that they do the progressive validation. Of course, we have the lead consultants who are specialists, as I said, in the various areas. And of course, this structure ensures not only accountability, but also coordination, quality assurance, all through the process. So that is so far what we envisage. The deliverable review task force, of course, so far what the advice that we've got from the client is, of course, it will be a function of the 4 ministries, financial sector, UBA, the WASH Resource Institute, and the Uganda Institute of Banking and Financial Services. And their key role is to review the deliverables, to produce technical guidance, to validate force us to respond will go a long way in ensuring that we collectively own this, but also it doesn't slow us down in delivering what we have to do. Communication channels, of course, weekly coordination meetings, shared progress tracker, email documentation, WhatsApp coordination group, and review schedules will definitely go a long way in helping us. What are some of the immediate next steps? The launch, of course, launch this initiative and of course approve the inception report, because that will kickstart the whole process. Share additional documents. We expect documents from Water for People and other stakeholders. Confirm stakeholder interview lists, then which would help us to efficiently begin the job. Set task force schedules so that they are collectively owned and known by all parties. Validation workshop dates should be proposed as early as possible so that so that we can communicate, but also start the TNA as soon as humanly possible. So, ladies and gentlemen, that is a highlight, that is a snapshot of the inception report, and we believe that your contributions, your support, your ownership will go a long way in ensuring that we can collectively come up with a curriculum that addresses our needs and that fosters investment and finance in this very critical sector. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Paul. How do we feel after that presentation? Do you feel like we know what is supposed to be happening? Do we have questions for Paul? Yes. So before we can ask Paul questions, I need us to register. Please scan the QR code. Let me get out of the way. If you don't have a phone, it won't work. Please scan. Let's all register together at once. The DFCU table has scanned fully. The employer's table has scanned. Good. Good, it's a very short form. Good. Madame Fort. Good. Have we managed? Techno. I help you? The registered name is the mobile money one. It doesn't mean that there is money coming. I don't know why David put that there. Are we all there? Have we all submitted? David, check if we have the submissions coming through. Great. Thank you. I still see some people trying to scan. The most balanced table? Or you can help your neighbor. The link doesn't restrict you to register again, so you can rescan and your neighbor registers. Yeah? We are kuyambagana. 32 so far, and we have already registered more than 50 people. So where are the other 16? We're at 39. Please submit. Help your neighbor. If you know your neighbor hasn't registered, please help them. Please come this side. I feel like you guys are hiding. Can you see this? Okay, David, at what number are we now? Okay, please help your neighbor. We're getting into a Q&A session. If you have a question, there is one here. Please go.
My question goes to Paul. Paul, have you anticipated the turnaround time for the gap analysis, which appears to be like a baseline survey for this ESG concept?
Thank you. Another question? You know, is it because we didn't understand?
Thank you very much for the presentation. You list the task force members, but you also have risk around task force efficiency. To improve it, probably you would need to specify the individual roles and responsibilities of each member so that each member knows what they are expected to do, when they're expected to do it, and how. So that would reduce or mitigate that particular risk. And it would also be good, still under the risk mitigation, especially for the high impact risks that you mentioned, you could probably expand it a little bit to provide a contingency plan. In the event things don't work out, you address it. I had a number of issues, but a number of them have provided answers, so I'm looking through my list. I didn't hear, and probably I missed it, I didn't hear a monitoring and evaluation plan. Probably it's there, but I didn't hear you mention it, but I also didn't see it in the document. And then I'm not too sure whether this has been done elsewhere. Probably that will come out in the what do you call it, in the literature review. If there are any examples elsewhere, a country or a district or someplace that has done this, where the country also has an ESG framework, but we want to unpack capacity strengthening aspects from it. If there are any examples you could share, but you could also do that in the literature review, just for us to get some leverage and get some good practices, if they are there from elsewhere. Thank you.
Thank you, Paul. You'll excuse me maybe if some of the information is elsewhere. I did expect maybe for the inception report to have a bit of more information from the desk review. What are you finding out? So that maybe we can see what is missing. But I would note that among the stakeholders, I expected to see, for example, the Uganda Stock Exchange, because if you're talking about especially issues around like financing, like the WASH bonds is something that is big, at least in the Africa region, and we've seen some banks, I could just give an example of Tanzania, where the National Bank of Commerce is a lead transaction advisor. So what skills are required so that the banks within Uganda can take us that route of getting more WASH bonds on the market? And then UNICEF is a major stakeholder in very many aspects. They have quite a number of trainings related to WASH and as well as governance, and I thought we could pick quite a lot from there. I didn't see it in the methodology around some of the existing curriculums or modules. We also have the WASH Systems Academy by IRC that has very rich, a lot has been done around finance, so we don't need to reinvent the wheel around financing modules, but how can we bring those finance modules in? There's a lot of content around WASH. So looking at those other existing curricula, so UNICEF has Agora, WASH Systems Academy. We also have We Adapt that looks at environment, what an environment, so that maybe at one point we can find ways of collaborating with those particular entities. Then for the private sector, I know very many foundations, large entities like MTN, Coca-Cola. There's a lot of push for them to do quite a lot around the water benefits. So they have quite a lot in there, and I thought maybe those are entities we could look at in terms of what they're thinking about when it comes to ESG and how banks can actually come in to support. I just missed out on the tools. I don't know whether the tools are ready so that the team, because when we come for the inception meeting, we can be able to support you. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Kate. Now I'm confident that people were listening. We've just been joined by the Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Water and Environment, Dr. Alfred Okidi. May we rise and appreciate his coming. Thank you, sir, and you're welcome. Brenda. Okay, so let's take another question. Oh, I was going front. Now I'm going backwards.
Okay. Yeah, thank you, Paul, for that elaborate report. So I just, when I was reflecting on the part of conducting the capacity needs assessment, you mentioned that you will be reaching out to some banks to ascertain their level of readiness. So I'm only hoping that some microfinance institutions will also be reached out to find out if they are ready as far as the ESG implementation is concerned. And the second issue is about still when you're conducting the consultative meetings, I just thought that perhaps you would also involve some regulators. Yeah. Some regulators, especially in the microfinance side, because I believe they also have some good information they can share with you. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I think my comment is really on the curriculum. So usually curriculums are tested, yeah? Like you develop and then you test it. So I want to know what the plan is with a consultant in terms of being able to actually test that material. Thank you.
Thank you so much. My question adds to what Kate was hinting at, how you bring in all the other different players. But my question is on the development partners, because they also have a very big influence into how, in terms of technical capacity and that sort of the conditionalities within the sector. So how can we also ensure that they're engaged at the point of maybe scoping or mapping them as stakeholders or engaging them in the curriculum development process? Whatever it is, let's see that maybe they are also brought into the discussion.
Thank you so much for the presentation. As actually, the presentation was more like high level. I was expecting something detailed, categorically touching, your conceptualization of our framework and how it's going to align with the curriculum development. I think that was going to be very important, especially for my members who are in the rooms to understand. But you made it so high level, so that means they'll have to go back and read or something.
That's quite a mouthful. Paul and Davis, my God, from water.org, be ready.
Thank you. I had quite a number of aspects, but I will shelve them and just speak on one. I think water.org, we have a water academy, which is global. I think one of the banks in Uganda so far is testing it. The second will do that next year. One of the things we see evolving and during our engagements is the need for our curricula and modules to sit on a platform. I don't know how far we are going with this. I think one of the things we're struggling with is even for the courses we have completion. But even as we do that, we are mindful that anything in a financial institution, in a bank, to pass, you need to address leadership first. So are there any specific engagements in the curriculum that will address and create appetite for leadership before we even think of any adoption? Because that is very, very critical. All the sustainability managers here can say whatever they want. They will attest to the fact that if leadership doesn't buy in, we have wasted all our effort.
Thank you. I'm handing back to you, Paul. Or just...
Yes, I listened in, so I have some few comments, maybe suggestions. And I think, as people have highlighted, this looked like a project proposal. You submitted water for people. We expected that you have moved from proposal to inception. And you demonstrate your understanding of the assignment. I expected you to define what is WASH for people who don't work in that space. What is ESG? I'm sure many people are hearing this for the first time. So I think as you work on a report, start by defining the scope of work. That will enable you to define the stakeholders. If you don't understand the scope of WASH, it will be difficult for you to know whom you are going to bring on board.
if you don't understand the scope of ESG, it's going to be very difficult for you to know who should even be on the task force, but who will approve. I don't think the task force will review, but there should be approval somewhere for you to adopt that. But to me, I think your team needs to go back and understand what is WASH, what is ESG, and where is the link. Now, before you go to curriculum, you have to define that framework, because the curriculum is to deliver something. Now, if you don't define that thing you want to deliver, it will be very difficult for you to define the curriculum. And then along the way, you define who are the key stakeholders, so that the task force is actually composed of the people who are going to make things happen and give you the input. And I think out there, then you look at the detailed tasks you are going to undertake. I have a copy of the inception report. I expect that one would see a detailed plan for doing your work. Who are the people going to do this work? Inception report has to be clear so that we know that you have the people. I see titles, but one would want to know who is doing this, so that one knows that maybe you are lacking some key people to help you do the work. Then the other issue, of course, is when you look at the task force. Again, one, as I think somebody mentioned, you need to define what are the roles of the task force, but where does the task force report? The task force is not an end in itself, otherwise then you don't have any anchorage. Could there be a team at a high level that actually will approve and then adopt this? Otherwise, if you end at task force, the danger is that you end at operational level. Maybe that's why then we see within the banking sector, is the approval going to be given by UBA, and then we know it is adopted? Within the government, is the Ministry of Water and Environment leadership going to approve and adopt? Otherwise, if you don't have that arrangement, you just end at that level. But of course, the task team can guide. Otherwise, personally, I feel, as somebody mentioned, it is still high level. Inception report should bring it down to the operational level, and I don't think it is ready for approval. There's still a lot of work that needs to be done. Thank you.
Thank you, Diana. I'm glad that I have a formidable team that is going to address this. But as part of the first caveat, I want you to appreciate that we shared a detailed inception report. Please review it. Most of your comments are actually there. And I'm glad that Diana shared it, to the effect that even some of the members who are not going to come, they appreciated and they even gave their comments. So this was a high level. This was a high level. Please allow me respond. Kindly allow me respond. Kindly allow me respond. I've been a very good listener, so please allow me respond. We did a detailed inception report. I had 20 minutes to present. And as a finance person, I respect people's time. So I had to do everything within that, but I had the confidence that you read the report. That is the first thing. 2, inception meeting is more of agreeing on the basics, the scope, and among other things, and we shared it with the client. It is actually well detailed in the work plan, that it is after this that we agree that we go on to another stage, and the stage would respond to many of the comments. We would come up with a gap analysis, among other things. So, but please take your time, review the inception report. Many of the things will be answered, but certainly there are a lot of other issues that you raised that are very important, and I'm going to request my team to help to address some of those. But I wanted to remind you that we have a comprehensive inception report that speaks to many of those. Diana, I don't know whether we have a microphone. We have another microphone. If you had another microphone, I wanted my team to be responding to some of this. I don't know whether we only have this one. Thank you, thank you. So the first, I think let me do them People, please allow me respond to this because we may not leave this place. Allow me respond to this, we may not leave this place. Thank you. So, team, the first thing was about, if I noted it well, it was about the turnaround time for the gap analysis. I think it was addressed in the inception report. Please take time to read the reception report. It was indicative of the timelines that we're going to do everything. But the gap analysis would come after this meeting because this was more of a launch and an inception meeting. So we wouldn't do much before we agree on the basics. I want you to appreciate that. Task force members, thank you for the guidance. Specify roles, they are already there in the inception report. Their roles, and maybe what we should indicate is the type. I think we also had an indicative. Yes, Dennis. IT, please, let's do this quickly. We don't have time. We want to be sensitive to people's time.
Let me provide some guidance here as the client.
Satisfies every stakeholder here in a way to make the project of the curriculum development a success, because we believe that every one of us will be happy at the end of the day when the curriculum is adding value and is used instead of being kept on the shelves. Thank you very much.
Paul, any additional acceptance?
Thank you. Yes, thank you, Engineer Diana, for that statement. The truth is that we are taking everything serious and in a very, very positive. Hello. Some of the issues that have been raised, the stakeholder list is there. Thank you for adding in this, the stock exchange, the development partners, but we had a stakeholder. We have a stakeholder list. The tools certainly are not ready because, as you've seen, today we are agreeing on the scope, on the objectives, and other things. But we are going to be moving with the task force. MFIs are certainly included, and the circles in terms of the TNA, and it's very clear in the inception report. Country examples whereby we can get good practices. That is the stage that we're going to do in the literature review, just like she mentioned. Contingency plan, thank you for highlighting that. We are definitely going to do that. Will curriculum be tested? Testing a curriculum is a rigorous process if you want to pursue the line of NCDC. The good thing is that we have the Ministry of Education here, but we believe that the task force and the task force work, validation and the validation workshop will go a long way in trying to do what the NCDC would do. So we believe that these are solid people who will not only co-create, but also own and ensure that we have something that is robust and comprehensive. So that will be more of the testing, but not the other one, because I've ever dealt with the NCDC. Their processes are quite long, so it might be tricky. But I want us to have the confidence in the task force and the validation workshops. They'll do a very good job. Presentations was high level. Yes, it was high level because of the time that was given to us. But Diana shared the inception report that was quite detailed. But we are alive to the fact that there are some issues that have been raised here that are very pertinent that we're going to add there. Water.org has definitely offered us access to the academy that has a couple of things. So we are really grateful because that's actually why you're part of the key stakeholders. Definition of WASH, ESG, we appreciate that. Part of that would be in the inception in the report, but of course we shall also be able to further buttress that. Where does the task force report? This is very insightful and good, and in the interactions we're going to see where it would have accountability and ensuring that we have value for this. So just like Dennis has submitted and the team, because that was collective, that we take all the comments, they've been noting, we take all the comments because that's actually why we are here. But we wanted to put a caveat that more information was in the reception report, but additional insights have been picked in this discussion. Thank you, team, for the feedback, and we are looking forward to your to collectively owning this and the whole process. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Paul, and the consultants team. One thing I would like us to take away also from this meeting, or to do before this meeting ends, is to at least agree on the constitution of the task force, but also the approval of the different deliverables. And Dr. Kallis already suggested how that might look. We have from the ministry, which ministry, then from the banking sector, so that as the task force is working, they also have, clear direction and approval guidance. Okay? But before we can do that, I'll invite the Commissioner, DWRM, Dr. Kallis. Please come share your thoughts and invite the PS to formally launch the start of this assignment.
Thank you very much, Engineer Diana, for that. Morning once again, ladies and gentlemen. I was here with you earlier. Now I'm putting on a new hat to invite my boss. But before I do that, I would like to introduce him to you, the Permanent Secretary, Minister of Water and Environment, Dr. Alfred Okotokidi. Yes, maybe you could stand up for a warm welcome. The previous engagements I've had with the financial institutions have represented him, but I did request him to represent himself today, and he gladly accepted. So please, thank you very much for coming amidst your schedule. That's an indication that the Minister of Water and Environment values the collaboration we're having with all of you, and I think in his remarks we clarify that. As Engineer Diana has mentioned, we are actually launching the process of development of the ESG-WASH curriculum. And I think the consultant's presentation fitted in because we were here. And again, we want to thank them. Maybe they were rushed to present something that needed more work. So the comments that have been made should make them improve the report. I did actually review the report in detail, and my comments were based on my review. So those who have not reviewed review, but I did review it in detail, and my comments were informed by the report. So, but again, we note that we are not yet there. We are only launching the process. And the process involves a number of steps, including the inception phase. So if you could do just the inception phase, this assignment will be done very well. Inception phase actually determines how you are going to move. If you do it badly, you will struggle. If you do it well, you will fly. So I would want to request the consultants to look into that. You are dealing with many stakeholders, and unfortunately you have to bear with us. Because if you don't bear with us, then the assignment might be difficult. But we trust that we support you to ensure that we deliver this assignment, because it is our assignment. At the end of the day, when the curriculum is developed, it will be implemented by us. Maybe something also to reflect on before the piece comes in is also recognize that WASH actually is new to some people. The people in the financial institution probably don't know much about it. Those of us who work with it on a day-to-day basis will understand. But ESG is also new. So if you are trying to build the capacity of the financial institutions, are you building the capacity of the people actually are supposed to support the financial institutions? So as we think about this curriculum, let's probably now recognize that we want to build the capacity of everybody, because it is new. A strong public sector will help you to move. If the public sector doesn't know what the financial institutions are doing, I can assure you will not move forward together. So as we think about this assignment, I would want to request the task team. Can we broaden the thinking so that we don't build the capacity of the financial institution? We build the capacity, the whole scope of WASH and ESG. And then you have aspects for regulators, for policymakers. Civil society, for example, I was talking with the ED of WASINET, and I was asking her, are the civil society aware even of ESG? No. So how will they support the financial institutions? So I think let's look at this assignment, in my view, as an opportunity to create collaboration and partnership across the board so that we can move. I can guarantee there are people who have heard about ESG today. That one I'm sure. That one I'm sure. I don't even have to ask whether it is true, I know. But there are people who have heard about WASH for the first time today. So can we start by defining WASH so that everybody is on the same page, ESG? But we have also developed a national adaptation plan for water, sanitation, and hygiene. And I would want the consultants to refer to that. Within there, we have defined what does WASH mean? And we have changed from the traditional definition of WASH, and that's why I talk about climate resilience WASH services. That you look at services that can withstand shocks. This will be environmental shocks, this will be climate shocks. So again, if you look at that, then you will be able to identify the stakeholders. Somebody mentioned UNICEF. UNICEF has been key in developing this, so they should actually be part, and maybe they can be partners in its implementation. So again, thank you very much, our partners, Water for People, Uganda Bankers Association. Yes, as I briefed you previously, we have had good collaboration with the Uganda Bankers Association and the individual financial institutions. Right now, as you did, we submitted the memorandum of understanding between the Ministry of Water for People and Uganda Bankers Association to the Ministry of Justice for clearance, and we are hoping that maybe by the end of this week it will be ready for signing. That will cement the relationship we're having with the financial institutions. But we have collaboration again, as you are aware, with the individual banking institutions. So we feel that the work we are doing will strengthen our collaboration and ensure that we all move forward together, but we need to understand the rules of the game and be able to support each other. On this note, let me take this opportunity to invite the Permanent Secretary, Minister of Water and Environment, to come and deliver his speech and formally launch this process of developing the ESG-WASH curriculum. Permanent Secretary, welcome.
Thank you, Dr. Kalis. Uganda Bankers Association, represented here, representatives of government agencies, ministries and departments, representatives from the financial institutions, the civil society organization, all other stakeholders, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. Yes, I would like to especially greet the consultant and his team. Let me tell you, inception report is always brutal. And don't take it personal. You will not fly, as Dr. Kalis said, because that is a stage at which you collect all the issues that are relevant. Some of them may not be relevant directly, but they play a critical role in shaping what you are doing. So take it in good faith, and please, I would also want, if it's okay, water for people, work with Dr. Kalis. We have retired professionals in the WASH space so that they sit with the consultants and they crystallize some of these issues, because I heard he's an accountant or a financial expert. So I think get also people from that sector to join them. Yeah, because we need them there. Otherwise, you should be okay. On behalf of the Minister of Water and Environment, I wish to thank Water for People, Uganda Bankers Association, IRC, Water.org, WASNET for working with my ministry to organize this launch event of the process. This breakfast meeting builds on ongoing and deliberate efforts by the Ministry of Water and Environment to engage the financial sector as a very critical strategic partner in delivering water, sanitation, hygiene outcomes, and also climate change. Because climate change is the biggest risk that is facing the globe right now. Over the past years, the Ministry of Water and Environment has worked with individual financial institutions such as the FCU, Stanbic Bank, Pearl Bank, now, okay, used to be Post, I think, Uganda Development Bank, and Bank of Uganda itself. And today marks a shift from the bilateral engagement to a system-wide approach that is bringing all the financial institutions, working through Uganda Bankers Association as the sector umbrella body. Achievement of Uganda's SDG 6 targets are still lower than where we expected to be. And the current levels for safely managed water supply and sanitation speaks to that. The public financing on its own cannot deliver on the WASH requirements. The budget is actually huge. Yet the commodity that we are talking about has been considered and passed as a human right by the United Nations. Water is a catalyst. Whatever you do, when you look at the 10-fold goal that government has set, you look at the industries you're supporting, you look at the individuals you're supporting, water is a significant catalyst in their processes. But as they go through the processes, they also generate waste. And that waste needs to be safely managed. And waste, as we know it, is actually untapped commercial opportunities that you need to take advantage of. Our Vision 2040 will never see daylight if the issues of water and sanitation are not addressed. The private sector, and especially financial institutions, are indispensable in closing the financing gap for households, MSMEs, and service providers. Accelerating progress will require collective action, innovative financing models, and deliberate alignment between sector policy priorities and the financial products that you will come up with. The launch of the UBA ESG framework in 2024 creates a timely and strategic entry point for embedding WASH within Uganda's sustainable finance. However, ESG integration will not happen by default. It requires targeted capacity building, clear sector-relevant ESG-WASH metrics, practical guidance on how financial institutions can operationalize WASH within their portfolios. This consultancy, therefore, is not academic. It is a practical intervention aimed at developing a WASH ESG curriculum tailored to banks, MFIs, and SACCOs. Defining clear WASH indicators aligned with UBA's framework and SDG is the other target. And the last one is strengthening the ability of financial institutions to design, finance, and track viable, inclusive, and climate-resilient WASH investments. And here, climate resilience is of interest. We have seen factories being swept. We have seen schools being submerged in water. And we have seen roads going because the investments were not designed to be climate resilient. Therefore, as a financial institution, these are the questions you need to start asking, and you need to ensure that your customers, whatever they are doing, this resilience issue is addressed. Otherwise, you're going to have non-performing portfolios. The work will explicitly draw on existing sustainable and green financing instruments, including blended finance, de-risking mechanisms, and sustainability bonds, so that the institutions can move from intent to implementation. The Ministry of Water and Environment is particularly keen to see the microfinance institutions and SACCOs fully integrated into the process. These institutions have deeper reach into low-income and rural households where access gaps are most severe. A one-size-fits-all banking approach will not work for a consultant. The curriculum must reflect the market segmentation, affordability, and inclusion considerations. The ministry recognizes that the capacity building must be institutionalized, not project-based. The Water Resources Institute is well positioned to host, steward, and deliver the ESG-WASH curriculum over time and ensuring sustainability and sector-wide uptake together with UBA. This also supports government's broader objectives of professionalizing and standardizing sector learning platforms. The Ministry of Water and Environment appreciates the Sanitation and Hygiene Fund for financing this initiative. We acknowledge Water for People, working in collaboration with IRC, UBA, Water.org, and all other partners for convening this process. This assignment reflects the kind of cross-sector collaboration required to unlock progress at scale when it comes to financing. Going forward, the Ministry expects strong stakeholder engagement throughout the consultancy, a curriculum that is practical, bankable, and usable, and the ESG-WASH metrics that can be tracked, reported, and acted upon. Today's launch of the process is therefore not ceremonial. It is the formal start of a process that should materially change how WASH is financed in Uganda. It is on this basis that I'm pleased to officially launch the development of the ESG-WASH curriculum and metrics framework and call upon all stakeholders to engage actively and constructively in the process. I thank you for your kind attention for God and my country. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I thought you'd stand and clap. No. And it's time for that group photo as well, so please come, yes, to the front. Let's, yes, I think we should, yeah. We may need to push this table just a little bit. I'm inviting the employers. The PS. I need another chair for my boss because I still need a...
shape.
Taking everything out.
We are not done. Please take your seats. All right, we need to conclude. We shall be. Yes, we need to sit again for like 10 minutes, only 10. Please, please, beg. 10 minutes, let's conclude. Let's conclude. Let's conclude. Where is the agenda? So let's conclude. We have 2 items on the agenda: the way forward and closing remarks. The way forward and Closing remarks. Only 2 items left on the agenda. I'm confident that we are listening if we are all seated. So those that are still standing, I worry. The chair, well, yeah, but the minds are still settled. Great. Welcome back from the photo moment and the hot inception session. At least I believe we are now all set to move. Yes? As I mentioned earlier, the task force is going to work closely with consultants and ensure that all the feedback that has come through from today's session and many other thoughts that even could not have come out are integrated into the whole assignment right from the beginning. We're not going to be able to constitute a task force today. This is going to be done, and we shall share out that in due course. Is that okay and clear? All right. So that said, yes, Brenda? Okay, so Dr. Kalis, and then you can invite the Ministry of Health to close out today's gathering.
Thank you very much. To me, I think we have had good discussions, and I think we are good to go, but of course we need to move systematically. I think, as we have mentioned, forming a task force will depend on whether you have mapped all the key stakeholders. And again, there are stakeholders who are responsible for policy, and you have to ensure that they are brought on board. Otherwise, you reach and somebody say, but where is this coming from? There are those who are responsible for the implementation. So, my suggestion, and I think which we have discussed with the team, let the current team that is managing this assignment work with the consultants to do a bit more of mapping, so that we get on the task force those who will make things happen, but we will also guide the consultant accordingly. And once it is done, then all of us will contribute in our different levels. For example, right now we know Uganda Bank Association is bringing all the financial institutions together. So one would want to know, what role are they going to play in this? Are they going to have that approved? Again, you have your structures. I expect that you will say, once something has been approved at that level, then it is rolled across the board. Again, if Bank of Uganda has already given special attention to ESG, we know WASH has not been in the equation. How do we bring them on board to also get to know that WASH is there? The Bank of Uganda, for example, they have a fund for agriculture. There's a possibility that we could also engage them and get a fund for WASH. Again, let's be strategic in whatever we do. And not everybody will have to be on the task force. Let's be intentional in getting people on the task force that can bring WASH and ESG to a level where it can move. For example, my boss has been here. But if he hears that this framework was already approved, then he says, so are people taking away my work? So once you do it, as they taken ahead of the Ministry of Water and Environment, again, we work for him, but he has the final approval, isn't it? So to me, I think once the team works with the consultant, then we'll be able to guide this work. Because we want to make sure that whatever we develop is actually operationalized. Who is going to fund this? We are talking about the training. Are we being intentional to get those who have the money? Again, UNICEF supported us to develop a WASH NAP. And when we are talking about WASH and the ESG, a WASH NAP is going to be key. Is there a possibility we could bring those partners? What is the World Bank, for example? So we are intentional in getting these that can help us. Of course, I know you have money, financial institutions have money, but we also want to get others who have money so that we can move forward together. So my suggestion is, we don't form a task force now. We know the work has started. Let additional work be done. And then when you have a task force, then it could be communicated, and then those regular engagements will be done. And of course, a task force member will be there, should be responsible for coordinating the prayers in that kind of space. If it is somebody from Ministry of Health, we expect that those working in the health space will be coordinated with you and you help the consultant. If you are from, for example, WASNET, we know that your role is going to coordinate the civil society organization to actually contribute. And then those will be there in their specific specialties, then they can come and provide support as required. That would be my view. Otherwise, to me, it has been good with the start of the assignment, and we commit to actually supporting the team. One thing I want to say as I end is, of course, it's very easy to comment and criticize, but if you are in the middle there, so consultant, for us on our side, it is easy to comment. But of course, if we're in your shoe, you probably would also be in that hot pot. But the whole idea is we all want to move forward together. So don't take it in any way. You know, if we didn't comment, you would wonder, are these people thinking? You would wonder. So I actually read the inception report before I came because I said, I can't go in a meeting and I don't contribute. That is my nature. I will not come and look on. So whatever I've commented is to make the product better, and it's not your product, it's our product. If this assignment is not done well, the people are giving us money and our stakeholders will not forgive us. So we are doing it to make sure that all of us can be proud of the product. So don't take it in any way that we are being what, we would rather do it now than doing it at the end and it will take you back. But we are in it together. So don't worry about it. Whatever we talked about will help you to integrate it and we move forward. Otherwise, let me take this opportunity to invite the Minister of Health representative to come and make some remarks and close this launch event. Minister of Health, you can come as a team if you want, you can come as one, depending on what you wish to do. And of course, when we came, I thought you were Minister of Water and Environment. I was surprised when you introduced yourself. I said, did you make a mistake? But it's okay, we are in it together.
Thank you, Doctor. Thank you, everyone. Good morning once again. Good morning. We've just had a very good engagement, and I know all of us are energized to know the outcome of this ESG and WASH curriculum. So on behalf of Ministry of Health, I would like to thank all the participants for your time, for your valuable contributions. I'd like to thank the consultant for taking in the comments that we've given to them. We know that you're going to use them to enrich this curriculum that we are coming up with. So I do not want to take up most of our times because we were supposed to leave here at 10. We are 10 minutes past. I'm just looking forward to seeing all of us engage in this curriculum development, and all of us, if you're put on the task force or if you've been called for a meeting, do your part so that we make this a valuable engagement. So once again, thank you so much, and we look forward to having, when is the validation meeting? The task force will decide, but we're looking forward to coming back here to validate the outcomes of what you would have come up with. Thank you. Have a blessed day for God and my country.
And the meeting is closed.